The night, everything shattered. The full moon hung heavy over the Silver Creek territory, casting silver light across the ceremonial grounds. Luna Sarah stood in her white mating gown, her heart pounding with nervous excitement. Tonight was supposed to be the happiest night of her life. Tonight, she would complete the sacred bond with Alpha Dante, the male she had loved since childhood. The entire pack gathered in the clearing, hundreds of wolves in their finest clothes. Torches burned bright around the ancient stone altar where the ceremony would take place. Sarah's hands trembled as she held the ceremonial cup, waiting for Dante to arrive and drink from it, sealing their bond forever. She touched her stomach gently, feeling the small bump hidden beneath the flowing dress. 3 months pregnant. She had not told anyone yet, wanting to surprise Dante after the ceremony. Their pup would be the future of Silver Creek Pack. Everything seemed perfect, but Dante was late. Sarah scanned the crowd, searching for his familiar dark hair and strong shoulders. Where was he? The elder stood beside her, looking uncomfortable. Minutes passed, then more minutes. The crowd began to whisper. Luna Sarah. The elder finally spoke, his voice tight with tension. Perhaps we should. Wait. Dante's voice cut through the night. Sarah's heart leaped. She turned, a smile already forming on her lips. But the smile died instantly. Dante walked toward the altar, but he was not alone. Beside him, holding his hand, was Vivian, Sarah's stepsister. Vivian wore a red dress that hugged her curves, her golden hair cascading down her back. She smiled at Sarah, but it was not a kind smile. It was the smile of someone who had already won. The rejection that broke the world. Dante. Sarah's voice was barely a whisper. What is happening? Dante climbed the stone steps to the altar. He looked at Sarah, but his eyes were cold. Gone was the warmth she remembered. Gone was the male who had promised her forever. Sarah, he said, his voice loud enough for everyone to hear. I cannot complete this bond. The crowd gasped. Sarah felt the ground tilt beneath her feet. What do you mean? She asked, her voice shaking. We are destined to be mated. The moon goddess herself. The moon goddess made a mistake, Dante interrupted. His words were like daggers. You are weak, Sarah. You always have been. Silver Creek needs a strong Luna. A Luna who can lead. A Luna who can fight. He pulled Vivian closer to him. Vivian is that Luna. Not you. Sarah stared at him, unable to process his words. This could not be happening. Not on their mating night. Not in front of the entire pack. You cannot do this, she whispered. The bond preparations have already begun. The ritual. I, Alpha Dante of Silver Creek Pack, formally reject you, Sarah Whitmore, as my mate and Luna. His voice boomed across the clearing. The words hit Sarah like physical blows. In the werewolf world, a public rejection during a mating ceremony was the ultimate humiliation. It was worse than death. The bond that had been forming between them for years shattered instantly, and Sarah screamed as pain ripped through her chest. She fell to her knees, clutching her heart. The agony was unbearable. It felt like her soul was being torn in half. Around her, the pack members looked away, unable to watch her suffering. The cruelest accusation. Vivian stepped forward, standing over Sarah with that same terrible smile. Poor Sarah, she said, her voice dripping with false sympathy. Did you really think Dante loved you? We have been together for months. Every time he claimed to be on patrol, he was with me. Every sweet word he gave you was a lie. Sarah looked up at her stepsister through tears. How could you? We grew up together. I trusted you. That was your first mistake, Vivian laughed. You were always too trusting. Too soft. Too pathetic. Enough, Dante said, but not to defend Sarah. He looked down at her with disgust. There is more you need to know, Sarah. The pack deserves to know the truth. Sarah's blood ran cold. Something in his tone terrified her. You are pregnant, Dante said. The crowd erupted in shocked whispers. Sarah's hands flew to her stomach protectively. How did you know? She whispered. I have known for weeks, Dante said coldly. And I also know the child is not mine. What? No. Sarah struggled to stand, but her legs would not support her. That is a lie. The baby is yours. I have never been with anyone else. Liar, Vivian shouted. We have witnesses who saw you with a rogue male by the eastern border. You betrayed your alpha. You betrayed your pack. No, that is not true. Sarah looked desperately at the crowd, searching for friendly faces. But everyone looked away. Please, you have to believe me. I have never betrayed Dante. I love him. The baby is his. Dante's face twisted with anger. Do not make this worse with more lies. We have proof. You were seen. Multiple pack members reported your treachery. Who? Who saw me? Sarah demanded. Bring them forward. Let them speak to my face. But no one stepped forward. Because there was no one. It was all a lie, a carefully constructed story to destroy her reputation and justify Dante's rejection. The elder, who had been silent until now, finally spoke. Alpha Dante, these are serious accusations. Perhaps we should investigate further before. The investigation is complete. Dante cut him off. I am the Alpha. My word is law. Sarah Whitmore is guilty of infidelity. She has dishonored this pack. Banished to die. As punishment, Dante continued, his voice hard as stone. I banish you from Silver Creek territory. You will leave immediately. You will take nothing with you. If you ever return, you will be killed on sight. No, Sarah whispered. Please. I am pregnant. I have nowhere to go. The rogue lands, they will kill me. You should have thought of that before you spread your legs for a stranger, Vivian said sweetly. Sarah looked at Dante one last time, hoping to see some flicker of the male she had loved. But his eyes were empty. Guards, he commanded. Remove her from Packlands. Now. Two large warriors grabbed Sarah by her arms and dragged her away from the altar. She struggled weakly, but the pain from the broken bond had left her powerless. Please, she cried out. Dante, please. I am telling the truth. The baby is yours. But he turned his back on her. He took Vivian's hand and led her to the altar where Sarah should have stood. Let us begin the true ceremony, Dante announced. Tonight, Vivian will become Luna of Silver Creek Pack. The last thing Sarah heard before the guards dragged her into the darkness was the sound of celebration. Her pack, her family, her home, all of it disappearing behind her. Alone in the wilderness. The guards dumped Sarah at the border of pack territory and left without a word. She collapsed on the cold ground, alone in the dark forest. The moon, once a symbol of hope and blessing, now seemed to mock her with its bright light. She lay there for hours, too broken to move. The pain of rejection still burned in her chest. But slowly, a new pain began to grow. Her stomach cramped. The baby. No, 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 she whispered, forcing herself to sit up. Please, little one. Hold on. Please. She had to move. The rogue lands were deadly, especially at night. Rogues were wolves who had been exiled or had abandoned their packs. Without the structure and protection of a pack, many went mad or feral. They attacked anything that moved. Sarah struggled to her feet. Her white ceremonial dress was torn and dirty. She had no shoes, no food, no water, nothing except the life growing inside her and a will to survive that she did not know she possessed. She walked deeper into the forest, away from Silver Creek territory. Every step was agony. Her feet bled. Her body ached. But she kept moving. For 3 days, she wandered. She drank from streams. She ate berries, not knowing if they were safe. The contractions started on the 3rd night. She knew what was happening. The stress, the rejection, the lack of food and care, it was too much. The baby was coming. Not yet, she begged, tears streaming down her face. Please, not yet. It is too early. But nature did not care about her pleas. The stranger in the storm. The storm hit as the contractions grew stronger. Rain poured from the sky, turning the forest floor into mud. Sarah crawled under a fallen tree, seeking any shelter. She was going to die here. She knew it, and her baby would die with her. I am sorry, she whispered, holding her stomach. I am so sorry I could not protect you. Thunder crashed overhead. Lightning split the sky. And then, through the rain and darkness, Sarah saw a figure approaching. At first, she thought it was death, finally coming to claim her. But as the figure drew closer, she realized it was a man. A massive man, even larger than Dante. He wore a dark cloak that covered most of his body, but she could see his face in the lightning flashes. It was a hard face, all sharp angles and strong lines. A long scar ran from his left eyebrow down to his jaw. His eyes were an unusual silver color, bright even in the darkness. His black hair was long, tied back roughly. Help, Sarah managed to gasp. Please, help me. The stranger knelt beside her, his movements quick and efficient. He pushed back his hood, and more scars became visible on his neck and hands. This was a warrior, someone who had seen many battles. "You are in labor," he said. His voice was deep and rough, like gravel. "How long?" "Hours," she whimpered. I do not know exactly." He looked at her torn dress, her bleeding feet, her malnourished body. His jaw tightened. "Who did this to you?" he demanded. "Does it matter?" Sarah asked bitterly. "I am dying anyway." "No." The word was firm, absolute. "You are not dying. Not tonight." He lifted her effortlessly in his arms, sheltering her from the rain with his cloak. He carried her through the forest with sure steps, as if he could see perfectly in the darkness. They reached a cave hidden behind a waterfall. Inside, it was dry and warm. Someone had been living here. There was a bed of furs, supplies, weapons on the walls. The stranger laid her on the furs and immediately began preparing. He built a fire. He heated water. He gathered clean cloths. His movements were practiced, as if he had done this before. "What is your name?" Sarah asked between contractions. "Kale," he answered simply. "I am Sarah." "Save your strength, Sarah. You have a difficult night ahead." He was right. The labor was long and agonizing. But Kale stayed with her through all of it. He held her hand when the pain became unbearable. He spoke to her in that rough voice, telling her to breathe, to push, to fight. "I cannot," she sobbed at one point. "I am too weak." Dante was right. "I am too weak." "Whoever Dante is, he is a fool," Kale said firmly. "You have survived 3 days in rogue territory while pregnant. You have endured rejection and betrayal. You are stronger than you know. Now push." And she did. The miracle in the darkness. As dawn broke, Sarah heard it. The most beautiful sound in the world. A baby's cry. "A girl," Kale announced, wrapping the tiny infant in clean cloth. He placed the baby in Sarah's arms. Healthy. Strong. Sarah looked down at her daughter, and her heart shattered and mended at the same time. The baby had her dark hair, but bright blue eyes. She was perfect. "Hello, little one," Sarah whispered, tears falling. "I am your mama." But before she could say more, another contraction hit. "What?" she gasped. Kale's eyes widened. "There is another." 20 minutes later, Sarah held not one, but 2 babies. Twin girls. Identical in every way except one had a small birthmark on her left shoulder. "Twins," Sarah breathed, exhausted but overwhelmed with love. "I have twins." She looked up at Kale, who was watching her with an unreadable expression. "Thank you," she said softly. "You saved our lives. I can never repay you." Kale was silent for a long moment. Then he spoke, his voice heavy with old pain. "I know what it is like to be betrayed by those you trust, to lose everything, to be cast out and left to die." He met her eyes. "You do not need to repay me. Just survive. Raise your daughters. That is payment enough." Sarah studied his scarred face, seeing the warrior, but also sensing the wounded soul beneath. "Who were you?" she asked quietly. "Before you came here?" Kale turned away, adding more wood to the fire. "Someone who was betrayed by the same pack alliance that likely destroyed you. Someone who lost his throne, his pack, his mate, and his honor." He paused. "I was the Alpha King of the Northern Territories. Before Dante's father and his allies conspired to have me exiled and branded a traitor." Sarah's eyes widened. The Alpha King. The legend. Every wolf knew the story of King Kale, who had supposedly gone mad and attacked his own pack 10 years ago. He had vanished, presumed dead. But that means... Sarah's mind raced. Dante's father was part of the conspiracy. Yes. Kale's voice was cold. And now his son leads Silver Creek. "Tell me, Sarah, did Dante reject you for a female named Vivian? A female with golden hair and ties to the Shadow Ridge pack?" "Yes," Sarah whispered. "How did you know?" Kale turned back to her, and in his silver eyes, she saw something that made her shiver. Rage. Pure, controlled rage that had been burning for 10 years. "Because Vivian's mother was my mate. The one who betrayed me. The one who poisoned the High Council against me and helped orchestrate my fall." He smiled, but it was a terrible smile. "It seems fate has brought us together, Sarah. Both of us were destroyed by the same pack alliance. Both of us were left for dead." He knelt beside her, his voice dropping to a promise. "I have been waiting years for the right moment to reclaim what was stolen from me. And now, with you and your daughters, that moment has finally come." Sarah looked at her newborn twins, then back at the scarred king who had saved her life. What are you saying? I am saying, Kale's eyes gleamed in the firelight, that your daughters are not fatherless. I will claim them as my own. I will protect you all, and together, we will make them pay for everything they have done. Sarah felt something stir inside her. Not love, not yet, but something darker and more powerful. Hope, and the first burning embers of vengeance. Yes, she whispered, holding her babies close. Together, we will make them pay. The broken Luna had been forged into something new in the fires of betrayal, and the fallen king had finally found his reason to rise again. The healing sanctuary. 3 months passed in Kale's hidden sanctuary, and Sarah slowly transformed from a broken, rejected Omega into something stronger. The cave behind the waterfall became her home, a place of safety she had never known before. Every morning, she woke to the sound of rushing water and her daughter's soft cries. She named them Luna and Stella, after the moon and stars that had witnessed her darkest night. They grew quickly, their bright blue eyes always watching, always curious. Kale was a mystery wrapped in shadows. He left before dawn each day, returning with food, supplies, and information. He never spoke much about where he went or what he did, but Sarah noticed the careful way he planned everything. This was a man who had survived 10 years in exile through intelligence and strategy. You need to regain your strength, Kale told her one morning, placing fresh meat and vegetables on the stone table he had carved. In 2 months, you must be ready to fight. Fight? Sarah asked, nursing Luna while Stella slept in a basket lined with soft furs. I have never been a fighter. I was trained to be a Luna, to heal, to counsel, to manage pack affairs. Then I will teach you to be both. Kale's silver eyes were serious. A true Luna is not just a caretaker. She is a warrior when needed. The old ways understood this. The new alphas have forgotten. That afternoon, Kale began her training. At first, Sarah could barely lift a practice sword. Her body was still recovering from childbirth and starvation. But Kale was patient in a way that surprised her. Again, he would say when she fell. Not angry, not disappointed. Just certain she could do better. And slowly, she did. She learned to throw a punch, to dodge an attack, to use her smaller size as an advantage against larger opponents. Kale taught her pressure points, dirty fighting tactics, and how to kill quickly if necessary. Why are you doing this? Sarah asked one evening after training, her muscles screaming with exhaustion. You do not owe me anything. You could have left me in the forest. Kale was sharpening his blade by the fire. The scar on his face caught the light, making him look even more dangerous. I told you. We share enemies, he said simply. And I have been alone for 10 years. Perhaps I am tired of being alone. It was the most vulnerable thing he had said since they met. Sarah saw past the scarred warrior to the lonely king beneath. Tell me what happened to you, she said softly. The truth, not the lies they spread. The fallen king's story. Kale was silent for so long that Sarah thought he would not answer. But then he began to speak, his voice rough with old pain. I was crowned Alpha King when I was 23 years old. My father had been king before me, and his father before him. Our bloodline was ancient, blessed by the moon goddess herself. He stared into the fire. I believed in honor, in justice, in protecting the weak. I took a mate named Alara. She was beautiful, cunning, and from the powerful Shadow Ridge pack. I thought she loved me. I thought our bond was real. His jaw clenched. I was a fool. Sarah listened, her heart aching for him. Alara wanted power, not love. She formed a secret alliance with 3 other alpha families, Silver Creek, Iron Fong, and Darkwater. Together, they controlled half the northern territories. They wanted more. They planned to overthrow you, Sarah whispered. Yes, but they needed a reason, a justification that the High Council would accept. Kale's eyes grew cold. So Alara poisoned me slowly with wolfsbane mixed with silver dust. Small doses over months. It made me sick, weak, and sometimes, it made me hallucinate. Sarah gasped. Wolfsbane was deadly to werewolves, and mixed with silver, it could cause madness. One night, during a full moon gathering, the poison reached its peak. I lost control. I shifted involuntarily and attacked pack members. I did not know what I was doing. When I came to my senses, 3 wolves were dead, and dozens were injured. Alara testified before the High Council that I had gone mad with power, that I was unfit to rule. The other alphas supported her claims. I was branded a traitor and an oath breaker. His voice dropped to barely a whisper. They stripped my title. They took my pack. And they hunted me like an animal. How did you survive? Sarah asked. I ran. I hid. I learned to live in the shadows. Kale looked at her. And I waited. I gathered information. I discovered the truth about the conspiracy. But I was one wolf against 4 packs. I needed the right moment, the right allies. And now you have found them, Sarah said, understanding flooding through her. Me? My daughters? Yes. Kale nodded. Your daughters carry alpha blood from Silver Creek. They are legitimate heirs to Dante's line. And you? He paused. You have something the conspiracy never expected. What? Sarah asked, confused. Kale stood and walked to a wooden chest in the corner of the cave. He pulled out an ancient book bound in leather and brought it to her. I have been researching your bloodline. Your mother was not just any Omega. She came from the ancient Moon Whisper line, one of the original 5 bloodlines blessed by the Moon Goddess. He opened the book to a page with faded drawings. The Moon Whispers possessed a rare gift, healing magic so powerful it could cure any wound, break any curse, and reveal any lie. Sarah stared at the drawings. They showed wolves with glowing hands, healing other wolves with pure light. But I have never shown any magical ability, she protested. Because you never needed to. Magic manifests during extreme need or emotion. Kale's eyes gleamed. Tell me, Sarah, when the guards dragged you from the altar, did anything strange happen? Sarah thought back. I remember feeling rage. Pure rage. And the guard holding my right arm suddenly screamed and let go. His hand was burned, though I did not understand how. You burned him with healing magic, turned defensive. It is a rare ability, but it proves your lineage. Kale closed the book. This changes everything. With your magic and my knowledge, we can expose the conspiracy. We can prove that Alara poisoned me, that Dante's father helped overthrow me, that everything was built on lies. The hidden truth revealed. Over the next weeks, Kale shared everything he had learned during his exile. He had been busy, very busy. Dante is not the powerful alpha he pretends to be, Kale explained one evening, spreading maps across the cave floor. His father left the pack, drowning in debt. To save themselves, Dante agreed to a massive territory exchange with Shadow Ridge, essentially selling half of Silver Creek's land. That is why he needed Vivian, Sarah realized. The marriage would make the land transfer look like a unity treaty instead of a surrender. Exactly. And there is more. Kale pointed to documents he had stolen over the years. Alara, my former mate, is Vivian's mother. She now controls Shadow Ridge after her current mate conveniently died in a hunting accident 2 years ago. She killed him, Sarah said with certainty. Most likely. Alara eliminates anyone who stands in her way. Kale's expression darkened. She wanted to merge all the northern packs under one rule, her rule. She would be the true power behind multiple alphas. But you were in her way. You were too honorable to manipulate. Yes. So she destroyed me instead. Kale gathered the papers. Now she is building her empire using Dante as a puppet. Within a year, she will control 4 major territories. Within 5 years, she will challenge the High Council itself. Sarah felt rage building in her chest. They destroyed our lives for power and land. They murdered innocent wolves. They would have let me and my babies die in the forest. Yes. Kale's voice was cold steel. And we are going to stop them. How? Sarah demanded. They have 4 packs. We have what? A cave and 2 infant daughters. Kale smiled, and for the first time, it was not a bitter smile. It was the smile of a king. We have something they do not. We have the truth. We have your magic. And we have allies they do not know about. The army of the wronged. The next day, Kale took Sarah deeper into the forest. She carried Luna and Stella in a sling Kale had crafted, keeping them close to her warmth. They walked for hours until they reached a hidden valley. Sarah gasped. In the valley below was a camp. Not a small camp. A full settlement with dozens of tents, training grounds, and supply stores. And everywhere she looked, she saw wolves. Who are they? She whispered. The wronged, Kale answered. Over the years, I found others like us. Wolves who were betrayed by the 4-pack alliance. Wolves who were exiled unjustly. wolves who lost family members to Alara's schemes. As they descended into the camp, wolves stopped to bow to Kale. Sarah realized these wolves still saw him as their king. An older female warrior approached. She had gray hair and kind eyes, but her body was scarred from many battles. "My king," she said. "Is this the one?" "Yes." Kale placed his hand on Sarah's shoulder. "This is Luna Sarah of Silver Creek. She and her daughters are under my protection." The warrior studied Sarah carefully, then smiled. "I am Captain Mira. I served your mother once, many years ago, before she made it into Silver Creek." "You knew my mother?" Sarah asked, shocked. "She was Moonwhisper clan. We all knew of her." Mira looked at the sleeping twins. "And these little ones carry that sacred blood." The prophecy was true. "Prophecy?" Sarah looked at Kale. "What prophecy?" Kale and Mira exchanged glances. Finally, Kale spoke. "There is an old prophecy in the Moonwhisper clan. It speaks of a silver-blooded Luna who would be betrayed by her mate, but would rise with twin daughters of power. She would restore the true king and bring justice to the corrupt." He paused. "Mira and others believe you are that Luna." Sarah wanted to laugh. "I am nobody. Just a rejected Omega." "You survived the impossible," Mira said firmly. "You carried twins through rejection pain, starvation, and labor in a storm. You are touched by the moon goddess herself, child. Do not doubt it." Over the next month, Sarah trained with the warriors. She learned that many of them had special skills. Some were trackers. Others were spies who had infiltrated the four packs. Some were healers, blacksmiths, and strategists. "We have been preparing for years," Kale told her one night, "waiting for the right moment to strike. Alara and her allies think I am dead or broken. They have grown confident, careless." "When do we move?" Sarah asked. "Soon. But first, you must unlock your full magic." Kale looked serious. "Mira will help you. She is one of the last living Moonwhisper wolves, awakening the ancient power." Mira took Sarah to a sacred grove deep in the forest. The trees here were ancient, their trunks wide as houses. In the center was a pool of crystal-clear water that glowed faintly in the moonlight. "This is a moon pool," Mira explained. "A place where the goddess's power is strongest. Your mother brought you here as a child, though you would not remember." Sarah knelt by the pool, her daughters sleeping nearby under Myra's watchful eye. "What do I do?" she asked. "You must face your pain. Magic comes from truth, from accepting all parts of yourself, even the broken parts." Mira placed a hand on Sarah's shoulder. "Look into the pool. See yourself truly." Sarah looked into the water. At first, she saw only her reflection. But then the water shimmered, and images began to appear. She saw herself as a child, always trying to please everyone, trying to be perfect, trying to be worthy of love. She saw herself with Dante, ignoring the small cruelties, the tiny betrayals, because she was afraid of being alone. She saw herself on the altar, being rejected, and feeling like she deserved it because she was weak. "No," Sarah whispered, tears falling. "I was not weak. I was kind. I was trusting. Those are not weaknesses." The water glowed brighter. "He betrayed me because he is corrupt, not because I was unworthy," she said, her voice growing stronger. "I survived because I am strong. I protected my daughters because I am a good mother. I am not broken. I am healing." The pool exploded with light. Power rushed through Sarah like a river breaking through a dam. Her hands glowed with silver-white light. Around her, flowers bloomed out of season. The very air hummed with magic. When the light faded, Sarah looked at her hands in wonder. She could feel it now, the magic flowing through her blood, ancient and powerful. "I can feel it," she breathed. "I can feel the moon goddess's blessing." Mira smiled with tears in her eyes. "Your mother would be so proud." Sarah stood, power coursing through her. She walked to where her daughters slept and placed her glowing hands over them. The light wrapped around Luna and Stella like a protective shield. "I will protect them," Sarah vowed. "And I will make those who hurt us pay for every crime." The fated truth. That night, Sarah returned to Kale's cave with new confidence. He was waiting for her, and his eyes widened when he saw the change in her. "Your magic has awakened," he said. "Yes." Sarah set her daughters down in their basket. "Mira says I can heal wounds, break curses, and reveal lies. She says with training, I might even be able to restore what was taken." "Restore?" Kale stepped closer. The poison damage done to you. The lies told about you. Sarah met his silver eyes. I might be able to prove your innocence to the High Council. Kale was silent for a long moment. Then he did something unexpected. He knelt before her. Luna Sarah, he said formally. I have a request. Stand up, Sarah said, uncomfortable. You are a king. A fallen king, he corrected. And you are a Luna with the goddess's blessing. I kneel by choice. He looked up at her. I want to make you an offer. A true offer, with no deception. Sarah's heart began to race. Be my mate, Kale said. Not because of revenge. Not because of strategy. But because I believe the moon goddess brought us together for a reason. He stood, towering over her, but somehow vulnerable. I feel the pull toward you, Sarah. I have felt it since I found you in the storm. I think you are my second chance mate. Sarah's breath caught. Second chance mates were rare, a gift the goddess gave to those who had suffered greatly. I feel it too, she admitted. But Kale, I am still healing. My heart is still bruised from Dante's betrayal. I know. And I am not asking you to love me today. He took her hand gently. I am asking you to let me prove myself worthy of you. Let me stand beside you as we take back what was stolen. And when the battle is done, if you feel the bond is real, we will complete it properly. With honor. Sarah looked at this scarred, dangerous, gentle male who had saved her life and asked for nothing in return. Who trained her, protected her, and saw her as an equal. Yes, she whispered. Yes. I will be your mate. When the time is right. Kale's smile was like the sun breaking through storm clouds. He pulled her close, and for the first time since the rejection, Sarah felt safe enough to let someone hold her. Together, he promised. We will destroy them together. Together, Sarah agreed. The plan takes shape. The next morning, Kale gathered his council of warriors. Sarah stood beside him, no longer a broken Omega but a Luna with power and purpose. We move in 1 month. Kale announced. Alara is hosting a ceremony to officially unite the 4 packs under a new alliance. All the alphas will be there, including Dante and Vivian. It will be heavily guarded, Captain Mira warned. Yes, but they will not expect us. Kale looked at Sarah. They think Sarah is dead. They think I am broken and hiding. We will use their arrogance against them. What is the plan? A young warrior asked. Sarah stepped forward, her voice clear and strong. We will attend the ceremony. I will challenge Vivian's claim as Luna of Silver Creek. By pack law, she must accept my challenge or forfeit the position. And while all eyes are on that fight, Kale continued, I will present evidence to the High Council representatives who will be there. Evidence of the poisoning, the conspiracy, and the illegal land seizures. It is risky, Mira said. If the council does not believe you, they will believe, Sarah interrupted. Because I will use my magic to force the truth from Alara herself. The Moonwhisper gift cannot be denied or hidden from. When I touch her, the truth will shine for all to see. The warriors murmured with excitement. This could work. This could actually work. We have 1 month to prepare, Kale said. Train hard. Check your weapons. We have one chance to make this right. Do not waste it. As the meeting ended, Sarah felt Kale take her hand. Are you ready for this? He asked quietly. Sarah looked at her daughters, sleeping peacefully in their basket. She thought of Dante's cruel rejection, of Vivian's lies, of all the innocent wolves who had suffered under the 4-pack alliance. Yes, she said, and her rose-colored magic flickered around her hands like living fire. I am ready to take back everything they stole, and I am ready to watch them fall. Every head turned toward the arena entrance. Standing there, backlit by the afternoon sun, was a figure in a hooded cloak. The figure threw back the hood, and gasps rippled through the crowd. It was Sarah, but not the broken, starving Omega who had been cast out 6 months ago. This Sarah stood tall and confident. Her dark hair was braided with silver threads. Her eyes, once filled with pain, now blazed with purpose. She wore a simple but elegant dress of deep blue, and around her neck was the ancient Moonwhisper pendant, proof of her sacred bloodline. Sarah? Dante whispered, shock written across his face. You are supposed to be dead. Surprised? Sarah's voice carried across the silent arena. Did you really think I would die quietly in the wilderness? Did you think the moon goddess would abandon an innocent Luna and her children? Children. Vivian stood, her voice shrill. What children? You were never pregnant. It was all a lie. Sarah smiled, cold and knowing. Oh, But I was pregnant, Vivian. With twins. Twin daughters who survived the blizzard, the starvation, and your mother's conspiracy to murder us. The crowd erupted in confused whispers. Murder? Conspiracy? What was happening? Guards, Dante commanded. Seize her. This female is banished from Silver Creek. Her presence here is illegal. But before the guards could move, more figures emerged from the arena entrances. Dozens of warriors, all wearing black and silver armor. They moved with military precision, surrounding the arena but not attacking. At their head walked a massive male with a scarred face and silver eyes. Elder Thorn stood abruptly. By the goddess. King Kale. The entire arena went silent. King Kale, the fallen Alpha King. The wolf who was supposed to be dead or mad or hiding in shame. But here he stood, very much alive, very much sane, and looking like the warrior king he had always been. Hello, Alara, Kale said, his voice carrying deadly promise. Did you miss me?